What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to be taking a look at a more fun and locally good GT crew. So, if you haven't subscribed already, do so, and let's jump into it. So, here we are. GT crew. Now, of course, because of Black Smoke Dragon, it lost a bit of its power, but as long as you have 7 or more markers, you don't really have a problem. So, we're using still some cards that do Spirit Boost, but we're trying to use less of it. Though, if you're not so worried about, having to lose your markers from Black Smoke Dragon, then you can also just run a lot of just Spirit Boost for negates and things like that. So I can show you here. We have Dispo as a replacement that you can run. So, of course, it's a free negate because you use Spirit Boost 2. And by turn 1, if you prepare it right, you can already have 5 markers. So you'll have an abundance of markers, so you'll never have to worry about it too much. But let's start with the leader. So we have the unawakened side here is when this card is placed in your leader area, you can activate one of your spaceships for your unison and add a marker to it, and then of course choose one of your unisons, place one Saiyan card from your hand under it. When this card attacks, draw 2. So on turn 1 you're going to place like a Saiyan, let's say your Trunks here or your Goku here, and you're going to place it underneath your unison, and then by turn 2 you can play it from under your unison. And of course, when you have 7 or more markers, then you can draw 2 and awaken and take until 6 lives, and you can easily defend off 6 lives because of the amount of counters and free negates that you have in general. And of course, here is the list. We have 3 testing oppositions. If you want to, of course, you can always drop 1 down. We have 2 after image techniques. It's just great for minusing their cards as well. It can help clear field. We have the 1 Yamcha. We have the difference of status, 2 of these. Of course, against like a boss monster or let's say a 20k double strike against you, you can just remove a certain amount of markers, so like 3 markers plus the -5 from the card itself, and then you can get rid of their card. And then we have our boss monster for the deck, which is the GT crew, practically. And this is an amazing card. It is a 3 cost. If you have 4 more energy, play this from under your unison. And then Spirit Boost 3, choose all your opponent's battle cards, and they get -30k for the turn. And this card gets triple attack. And what you can do is, on turn 1, if you have it in your hand, or try to get it in your hand, it's actually really handy to do, you could just place it straight underneath your unison, and then you add a marker to it. And then we have 3 copies of Son Goku. This is a great -20k card to your opponent, and if you have 3 or more energy, you can play this from under your unison. So, a good idea, by the way, is to try to get at least 5 Saiyans under your unison before you awaken, because you do not want to have the point where you only have like 2 or 3, and now when you try to use your unison, you're now only getting 2 markers rather than the 3. Because for each card under your unison, when you activate this skill, place 1 Saiyan card from your hand under this card, draw 1 card, then add a marker for each card underneath it, up to 3. So you do not want to be at a point where you're only getting 2 markers every single time. You want to be consistently getting 3. But that is very easy to do. We have an abundance of Saiyans here in general. Then we have our 1 cost Son Goku, just a great little searcher for the deck. And, of course, we have the Pan. This is a free-to-play blocker, 5k. You can Spirit Boost 2 or Spirit Boost 1 to play this card. And if you Spirit Boost, then you can activate this and play your Surprise Attack Vegeta, which is a free critical, which is amazing. And then we've also got 2 Trunkses for our little 15k blocker. Same thing as before. 2 more energy, play this card from under unison, which is just good. We have 1 Triple Flash Goku. You can side this out, and I'll show you later what you could use. But for the general sense of this deck, you can, on turn 4, 5, whatever you want to do, you can play this card. You can attack, get your triple attack on it, attack 2 times. Then you can evolve this card on top, and now you got this big boy. So it's very easy to do. It's actually a very powerful card too. Very, very powerful. And then we have our Sun Trunks. We have our Trunks. And he's a barrier 15k. It's kind of like with the Gamma deck, you've got the Android 17 that has the 15k barrier. Same kind of deal in a way. You're not really evolving, so you're not getting the draw off that, but in general, you draw a lot from the deck anyway. It's very consistent with drawing. And this will be, when this card is played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 10k for the turn. So also just a handy negate, well, minus card as well. And then we have our Overwhelm for the deck. We're going with Man on a Mission. We just want to keep that board pressure going to your opponent. So having a card like this can really just draw out their negates. That way you can still attack with other things if you need to. And then we have the Surprise Attack Vegeta, as we saw from the Spirit Boost. Super easy to play. In total, we have how many opportunities of Spirit Boost? We have 3 from the Pans. We have 2 from Difference of Status. And if you really need to, you could do the Spirit Boost 10 off your Leader's Awaken. And when you do that, you'll get to play your boss monster for free. And this card, your leader, will get 5k power extra. So it's a bit all over the show, but it's because that's kind of how the deck works in general. So I didn't see a point in trying to organize them neatly, because there is no way you can do that, because everything kind of bounces off each other, which is very good that it does that. It's good to have consistency. And then we have the Goku. This is probably the best card for the deck. 15k critical. And then when this card is played from under your Unison, you can draw one and then add a marker to the chosen card and put a card from your hand that's a Saiyan underneath your Unison. So you just keep that rhythm going. Then we have 2 Bulma, the Buddy Girls, another blocker. And what you do is, because of this Unison here, if your leader card is red and you have a red Unison in play, when this card is used in a combo, draw 1. And at the end of battle, choose one of your red Unison cards with Rejuvenate, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't matter. It's the fact that we have a Unison, which means that we can already activate this straight away on like turn 1, turn 2. So you can always attack with your Surprise Attack Vegeta, then you boost with your Krillin. Now you've got a Krillin in your drop. Let's say you play your Trunks, which is an Earthling. Then, if they remove your Earthling Trunks, you can activate Bunny Girl. And when one of your red Earthling cards, other than Bulma, is removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill, you may place this card from your hand. You may play this card from your hand. If you do, play up to 1 Earthling only battle card with an energy cost of 4 or less from the drop. And there you go. Now you get to play your Krillin for free. So you're going to have a lot of bodies on field. In general, I have had games where I maybe have like 9 battle cards on my field. And, of course, then we've also got Setting Forth to Space. This is just a searcher as well for the deck in a way. You choose your Unison, draw 1, add a marker to the Unison, place 1 red Saiyan card from your deck directly under your Unison, which is just very good if you need to set up exactly what you want to play. And then we've got our Great Ape. This is from the more for the actual Pan starter deck. But this card is very good here too. You just combo with this card, and then you get to play this card from your drop. So it's another free to play. And then if it's got its ability, we can get to a little later. We also have the newer cards that they made. The promo. This is a Deflect unique. If you pay 1 energy, you have 2 or more energy, play this from under your Unison. And then you get to choose one. When this card attacks, it gets 5k, and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, minus 15k power or less, and KO it. If this card's power is 25k or more, it gets double strike for the turn. And then the other one is, if you have 4 or more energy and you pay 2 red energy, if you do, play up to your boss monster for the deck on top of this card in active mode, which is very, very good. And that's why we run that card. We want to get our boss monster out consistently with this. And then we've got 2 Pans. This is a free to play. You play it from under your Unison. And then it's just a nice little 10k body for earlier game. And of course, you can also just have it on the field as a nuisance, and you can rest it, and then you give 5k to one of your cards. Then we have this Goku. This is a very good card. You pay 1, you can play this. And if you have 2 more energy, play this from your hand, not your under your Unison, of course. And you burst 2 on play. Then what you do with this card is more of charging your Z energy. So you attack with this card. You get to boost with a Saiyan with 5k from your drop with its skills negated, which then allows you to, charge your Z energy nice and easily. And then we've got our King Vegeta Imposing Presence. This is an awesome card. If you have 3 or less life, it's a free counter, and what it does is you choose one of the attacking cards, ignoring barrier gets -10, and then every time your opponent wants to attack for the turn, they have to -5 to their cards every time. And then we've got, for our ultimate, I've chosen to go with a bit of a weaker version of a choice that you can do, just to keep it a bit cheaper. That way you can still locally play, and if you want to upgrade that, I'll show you some options soon, if you want to make it actually like really top. We're using the Hyper Evolution Super Saiyan 4 Goku, because we can evolve this off our boss monster, and so we can attack essentially 2 times from this, and then we can evolve with this, and then we have the activate main from this card itself. Place 2 red cards from your hand in the drop, switch this card to active mode. So as long as you've got a bunch of cards in hand, which you will, you can just keep attacking with this card. And of course, if this card attacks, it gets 5k for the duration of the turn, and that's not once per turn either, so it means each time you do that, you're eventually going to get really high attack. Then, if this card's power is 60k or more, it deals 1 damage to your opponent's life. So you can get to that point pretty easily too. But yeah, other choices you can do, just to get to that. We have other ultimates. We've got the new Sin Shenron. This card looks like a beast. And if you play this, of course, you can either play one of your cards, so you could play this for free. So you could essentially, if you really wanted to, you could play for 3 energy, this card, and then Spirit Boost 10 and play another one. And of course, we've got the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta Unbridled Power. This card is crazy as well. We all know it by now, I think. Remove their field, -5k to their leader, and then you get rid of this card and they crit a life, which is just really good. We've got Pan if you want to go a bit more defensive. It's just a very good card in general. It's dropped a bit in price these days. It's still kind of like 100 euros, but it's still a lot cheaper than what it used to be. It was like a 350 euro card at some point. Then we've got the Golden Cooler. This is probably the best choice for the deck. You give your opponent a bunch of Z energy, and then you just keep removing their Z energy, and you can restand this card and keep attacking. And then you choose all their cards, battle cards, ignoring barrier, and send them to their owner's warp. And they choose 5 cards in their hand and add them to their, add the rest of them, besides those 5, to their Z energy. So you can also just empty out their hand a bit if you want to go for the finisher. And if you want to run that card, which is the better choice, what you do is you take out, of course, the replacement of this. You can take out the 1 triple flash, and you take out a testing opposition. And then from that, you can replace it with the ultimate of Golden Cooler, and then you can add yourself 2 strategies. So then you give your Saiyans or barrier. But with this build, we're trying to focus more on just, it doesn't matter if they destroy your field, because you can just reflood your field very quickly with this deck. Everything is either 1 energy or it's free, besides your boss monster, of course. And then for the Z deck, we have 2 copies of this Goku, the Defender of Life. When this card is played, place 1 Saiyan from your drop under this card, and this card gains barrier for the turn. Additionally, if your opponent has 4 or more life, deal 1 damage to them. And then what you do is you place a Saiyan card from your drop under this card. So what you do is you want to place the Great Ape Son Goku. And what you do, the reason why is, if your leader is a Pan card, when this card is placed under one of your Z battle cards, with the Z battle card, it gets 5k power and the following skill for the turn. When this card attacks, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and it gets -25 for the turn. So now you're just giving that extra effect on top of your Z battle card. So it's just going to be a 25k deflect, barrier, double strike, which is just bonkers. So it's a very good combination, these 2 cards together. Then, of course, we've got Rush Attack Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. We all know this by now. It's just a very good card in general. We have the Z Leader for this deck. Now, it's a good Z Leader, but at the same time, I don't think it's that great. Just because Black Smoke, it doesn't... If it removes your Unison, I mean, you can still just pay 1 to get it back, and you start with 1 marker again. So, yeah, of course, you lose all the cards underneath it, which sucks. So, giving your Unison barrier for that turn, it doesn't really save you, because it's just until the end of your opponent's next turn. It's good, but it's not great, you know? It's still okay, because you're a 15k double strike leader, which is cool. and you still got the same effect from your normal leader as well, with the whole drawing and placing Saiyans under. So it is good. And then, of course, we have, just for my choice, I think it's a pretty handy card, the Piccolo. So the reason why is because you can minus unisons with this card. That's really it. So yeah. But yeah, this is the deck in general. I would say for turns 1, 2, and 3, I'd probably place a Saiyan card from under your unison, from your leader's auto, and then add a marker. Use your boss monster's effect to place it under your unison, add a marker. Then, of course, you use your unison's effect now to be able to place cards underneath it, and then you add a marker for each one underneath. So now you're already at 3, 4, 5 markers. So that's pretty easy. Then for turns 2, do the same thing again. Repeat, use your whole unisons to get markers and whatnot. And then, of course, from under your unison, you want to be able to play your Barrier Trunks or your Crit Goku. And then, because that's also going to help you draw too. And then for turns 3, I'd probably just swarm your field, minus their cards so you keep a bit of control against their field. And then for defensive things, I would say keep unison above 7 markers. Difference of status is a fantastic boss monster removal, or, aggro removal for later as well. Use your blockers as much as possible. We're not running like 10 or 11 counters like a lot of decks are lately. They're running kind of an absurd amount, but here it's pretty good. Yeah, so that's the deck. I hope you like it. If you like the video, like it. If you don't, you don't. Thanks for watching. Peace. Links to the deck will be in the video description.